Elisa, LaShell, Sanders, Arnold.
What we're doing is we are listening at different perspectives on life. What we do is we have a lot of notions that get thrown out of there. And a lot of times we fall into these false ideologies of what life should be, what marriage should be, what love looks like. And we fall into those things. And what I said for part one, I gave some mic drops on the front end. And the first mic drop that I dropped was marriage ain't magic. And I said it just like that. Marriage ain't magic. And for those of us that don't know, we think sometimes that marriage is a magic pill, that you can pop a pill and it's going to turn a female right into a wife. You think that you can just inject that man with something and he will just automatically become a husband. And then after the honeymoon is over and after the wedding is all gone and you looking around saying, wait a minute, you still a liar? You still a cheater? You still don't like to cook? You still driving your mama car? You still don't have good credit? We think that marriage is a magical solution that is automatically going to change who we are on the inside, change our status. The only thing that happens is we exchange our singlehood for partnering with somebody else. But you better hear me. Listen, my ace Shamika Dean is in the house. Listen, make sure if you guys are not following the Queen of Restoration, I'm going to have her on the show real soon. You go to YouTube and you type in Shamika Dean, and I promise you guys, if you ever want to hear some stories of restoration, especially in marriage, she's the one to know. So make sure, I'm so grateful that she is on tonight. She and I and my other sis, Dr. T, are going to be in an amazing conference for the women in Atlanta in September. So make sure that you guys are following me on social media so that you can see all the places that I'm going to be in the next few months. I want you guys there. So thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight for part two of Married and Miserable, the reality behind the ring. The second mic drop that I gave you guys was really simple. I said something that we rather puff up the potential instead of recognize the reality. Make sure you go back and watch part one so that you can know how we like to recognize potential, but we like to puff up potential. We like to make people bigger because, as Jasmine said in part one, we don't want to admit that we made a mistake. We don't want to admit that, listen, I married wrong. I married for the wrong reasons. We don't want to be judged by people. I said on part one that if I were to tell the truth, yes, I was naive. Yes, I was young. But some of the reason I got married because I didn't want to be by myself, because I didn't want to be anybody's baby mama, because I wanted somebody to come home to, because I wanted stability and independence away from my family. And so sometimes we have to tell the truth about why we get into these situations, because y'all know my saying is you can't fix what you won't face. And so those of you guys that are joining us back, and thank you for typing in my quote, Shamika, I appreciate it. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you are sharing this. This is not just for married people. It's for single and looking. It's for married and miserable. It's for divorced and decreeing that you will get married again. Get back on this broadcast for part two. And if you're just getting on part two, make sure after this is over that you go and catch part one. Me and Jasmine Womack gave some powerful, transparent testimonies about ourselves. Now, we're getting ready to get into the meat of the matter. You guys know how we do on Mic Drop Monday. If I drop a mic, put that microphone emoji out there. If you see yourself in something that I'm saying, type in 3 words, I see me. And if I say something that bears repeating, make sure that you guys type it in the comments. I appreciate you guys, and keep inviting your friends. Keep sharing, getting them on, because this is the place for help, hope, and healing. And so I'm going to start with one of the number one reasons why we end up married and miserable. And for those of you guys that are thinking about marriage, if you're thinking about the possibility of going into marriage, this is one of the things you can do: a self-evaluation, a self-check. A lot of us wish somebody had had these conversations with us on the front end. A lot of us wish that instead of looking for somebody to link up with, we were thinking about, do our bank accounts match? Do our mindsets about our future match? Are we on the same wavelength emotionally? Are we after the same things? Have Have I interviewed his mama Nim to see what kind of man he was? Have I talked to her sister to find out if she likes to cook or if she can keep a clean house before I try to use a ring as a way to morph a man into a husband or a woman into a wife? And so tonight, we are dealing with the reality behind the ring. And so what I'm going to do, number one, I'm going to talk about one of the number one reasons why we end up married and miserable. Number one, and I'm telling y'all, I'm going to go all the way in on this one. So make sure that you've invited your friends. Make sure that you've shared this because it's about to get real. Number one, why you end up, or we, because I've been there, why we end up married and miserable. Number one, and somebody type it in the comments. You want completion more than companionship. Now I'm going to drop my own mic right here, but you're welcome to do so as well. Number one, you want completion more than companionship. Here we go. Let's define completion. And let me say this one more time for the people in the back. Why we end up married and miserable. You want completion more than companionship. Pop, thank you so much for joining tonight. I'm so grateful for all of you guys that keep joining. I see the numbers keep going up. So that means you guys are sharing, you're tagging your friends. I appreciate you all for joining me tonight for this special 2-part series of Married and Miserable. But that's number one, and we're going to break that down tonight. You want completion more than companionship. Let's define completion. Completion means whole, entire, lacking nothing. You want completion more than companionship. I'm going to tell you one more time for the people in the back that couldn't hear. You want completion more than companionship. Adrian said, I'm listening for the front on the front row. Let me break this thing down. If we were to take an inventory of ourselves and tell the truth, we would admit that a lot of us are and have been broken, fragmented pieces. There are things on the inside of us that have been damaged. If we wanted to tell the truth, there's brokenness inside of us. And so what we tend to do is we want somebody who makes us feel whole instead of focusing on being whole. Are you hearing me? I guess I just dropped another mic. I'm talking about why we end up married and miserable. We want completion more than companionship. A lot of us are broken. A lot of us deal with brokenness. We have fragmented pieces on the inside of us. And what we would rather do, we will deal with somebody. Anytime somebody looks functional, anytime somebody looks like they have it together, anytime somebody looks like they have all of our missing pieces, we latch on to them and we're looking for somebody to make us feel whole instead of focusing on how to be whole. Do you hear what I'm saying tonight? We don't recognize the difference between being complete and a compliment. You hear me? We don't recognize the difference between completion and compliment. And I'm going to break down the difference. There's completion. That means somebody is whole. That means they're lacking nothing. That means they are entire. However, let's talk about a compliment, because something that's complete means it can function by itself without missing anything. It can function. It's complete. But the issue with us is we don't know how to recognize the ability to compliment. C-O-M-P-L-E. We don't know how to recognize compliment. C-O-M-P-L-E-M-E-N-T. Compliment instead of completion. So let me break it down. You have a complete car, correct? It is complete. Your car has all of the components that it needs to drive. However, if you were to take the engine out of that car would be incomplete. It could not function. It could not do what it was made to do. Even if you took the ignition out of that car, it doesn't matter what model it is. It doesn't matter how many bells and whistles that car has on it. It does not matter that it has no miles. It does not matter that the tires are new. If you were to take the ignition button or the engine out of that car, it could no longer function, which means that car needs the engine to be complete. Does that make sense? We're talking about completion. It's when without this part, it would not function. So a car, in order for it to be complete, has to have an engine. But when you take the engine out the car, that car is now incomplete and incapable of functioning. Now, on the other hand, let's talk about a compliment. See, a compliment is something that adds value, variety. It adds wholeness to something that was already complete. And this is how we end up married and miserable. We don't know the difference between completion and a compliment. And so we try to complete people, or we want people to complete us, but we don't understand that we were made to compliment them. We don't understand that they were made to compliment us, but we put the burden of completion on somebody else. Ooh, are y'all hearing me tonight? We put the burden of completion on somebody. A person is incomplete when you take something away and they're no longer able to function. And that's what happens with a lot of us. We get into relationships and we're broken and we're lacking things and we are not whole. And then we latch on to somebody that looks like they're functioning and we want them to complete us. Instead of looking for wholeness, we just latch on to them and say, well, I'm going to let you complete me. I'm going to let you be my engine. But when they walk away, when they leave, we are not able to function. I'm dropping the mic tonight. And so there is a difference between looking for somebody to complete you and looking for somebody to compliment you. There is a difference between trying to be somebody's completion and only serving as their compliment. And that's how we get mixed up right there and mixed up that's how we get mixed up. We don't understand the difference. I just said without an engine, a car cannot function. However, let's talk about the difference, the compliment. Have you ever been at a restaurant and you ordered a meal? You said, well, I would like a steak and let me get a baked potato and I don't know, maybe add me some broccoli or some green beans and a roll. Well, that's a complete meal. Well, the waiter might say, well, you know what would complement this meal? A bottle of red wine would complement this meal. What they're saying is you already have a complete meal. But if we were to add this compliment, this wine to it, what it's going to do is it's going to enhance the flavor of your meal. There's something in that red wine that's going to bring out the flavor of that meat. There's something in this red wine that if you add it to your complete meal, what it's going to do is enhance you. It's going to enhance your meal. It's going to make your meal taste better. I'm trying to go somewhere with this. We're talking about a compliment versus a completion. Have you ever shopped online? Well, what happens when you shop online is you'll be on Amazon and you will perhaps buy some earphones or you will perhaps buy a watch. What they will do on Amazon is they will offer you some compliments. They will say, listen, people that bought that also bought this attachment because it helped make it better. The purchase that you got was complete in and of itself, but if you order this little add-in, it will complement your purchase. It will make a purchase that's already complete just a little bit better. What we do is when we get in relationships, we want somebody to complete us. We want them to fill voids that we don't know how to fill on our own. And just like a car that can't function without an engine, when that person is dysfunctional, when that person is having a bad day, when that person decides he don't want you anymore, when that person decides she can do better, then now you are dysfunctional. You're not complete because you brought somebody into your life to complete you instead of complimenting you. I hope I'm helping tonight. I'm telling you, we walk around in a spirit of brokenness. We walk around with holes in our hearts. We walk around with fragmented emotions. We walk around with messed up mentalities. And what we're doing is we're trying to radar in on somebody that looks like they have the missing piece. We want them to take what they need to be whole and give it to us so that we can be complete, not knowing that if they take their wholeness and give it to us, now they are incomplete. I didn't even know I was dropping that mic. Apostle Edge, thank you. Prophet Edge is on watching. Thank you, cousin, for joining. Do y'all hear me what I'm saying? So what we do is, you don't know what it took for that man to bring wholeness to himself. You don't know what it took for that woman to finally have peace of mind. But now you want to latch on to somebody and you want them to give you their wholeness and let them be left fragmented when you should be looking for a compliment instead of completion. Hear me. Some of us got daddy issues, and instead of going back and tracing the tree and going back and figuring out, wait a minute, I need to confront my daddy, or I need to confront this issue in my life, even if daddy is gone. Let me get to a therapist. Let me get to a pastor. Let me get to a counselor, and so that I can handle my daddy issues, so that I won't be looking for a man to complete the daddy that did not satisfy who I needed him to be. I'm trying to help you guys. Men that have mama issues, mama walked away, or mama made you a mama's boy. And so what you don't know how to do, I don't know how to function without my mama. She didn't teach me how to be a man. She didn't show me how to balance a checkbook. She didn't show me how to wash my own clothes. She didn't show me how to stand up on my own 2 feet. So what I'll do is I'll go out and find a strong woman that's going to do all the stuff for me, that's going to let me be a kid and she be the adult in the situation. And I'm going to leech on to her, because instead of figuring out what my mama issues are, instead of finding a woman, a grown woman to compliment me, what I'll do is find a replacement for my real mama and let that complete me. It's tight, but it's right. Y'all know I get real. Y'all know I get all the way live after a minute. I'm telling you, the kids have graduated and got out of school, and I am here for it tonight. And so we're looking for completion instead of a compliment. I'm telling you guys, some of us have self-esteem issues. We haven't figured out how to tap into our inner strength. We haven't sat down somewhere and built ourselves up in our most holy faith. We haven't sat down somewhere and figured out what things tainted our reflections. What we would rather do is find somebody with a nice smile or a nice shape, and we want to get out there and find somebody that's going to complete us instead of compliment us. And I'm telling you, the minute that they're dysfunction, the minute that they can't do it, the minute when they taste change, the minute when they want to veer off, all of a sudden we look up and we find ourselves not functioning. I just explained to you guys the difference between completion and a compliment. A car is incomplete without an engine. It will not run. It cannot function. And a lot of us want to go out and find people to be our engine. Well, I can't run without my sunshine. I can't run without that man in my life being my help and being my hope and being my salvation and being my everything. Well, then when he decides that that's not what he wants, God forbid something happened to him and he's no longer there. If he decides that time has been spent with you, then what happens? You walk around and you are incomplete. You're unable to function. However, if you look to be a helpmeet, or if you look for somebody to be a helpmeet, which is another word for a compliment, something that adds value to you, something that makes you shine a little brighter, something that comes in and enhances who you already are, then guess what? If, for instance, or if they happen to walk away, if it didn't work out, if they left you, you are still complete. You are still whole, and you are still functioning. I hope I'm helping y'all tonight. This is how we get help, hope, and healing. I'm going to repeat this again, and I said it at the beginning. Marriage ain't magic. Stop thinking that there is a pill that you can give that woman that can turn her from a lady to a housewife. Stop thinking that you can inject that man with some kind of potion that's going to turn him from just being a male to a husband. And you think that just by putting a ring on the finger or walking down the aisle or saying vows out of your mouth that they're going to get some missing components that they were missing when they got down the aisle, and all of a sudden they just gonna be complete and ready to be everything you need them to be. Listen, I just said in one of my mic drops that we would rather puff up potential instead of recognize the reality. But there's help, there's hope, and there is healing tonight. I'm trying to tell you. So let's look at this thing, and this is how we're going to get our help, hope, and healing. Let's look at the story of Adam and Eve. Why don't we just start with the first marriage, the first couple? Let's look at it. Here's the thing we don't ever want to recognize. Adam was made complete. Adam was made whole. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Adam came fully functional. I'm going somewhere with this tonight. See, Adam was lacking nothing when he was created. Now, here's the thing that Adam needed. He still needed instruction. He still needed a job, and he still needed a purpose. Are you hearing me? I'm trying to help y'all tonight. Adam was created whole and complete in and of himself. However, he still needed instructions. God had to tell him, this is what you need to do. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. Number 2, he needed a job. Here, you need to tend the field. You need to name these animals. You need to have dominion. And 3rd, he was given purpose. This is the reason why you were created. Adam was made and created as a whole person. He was complete. However, and I'm getting ready to drop the mic, what he did not have was somebody that was on his physical, psychological, and emotional level so that he could have communication, communing, and creation with. Are y'all hearing me what I'm saying? God created Eve because Adam did not have somebody that he could communicate, commune, and create with. Listen, I'm setting the platform and setting the stage for how you don't have to be miserable in marriage. You find you somebody that you can communicate, commune, and create with. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? When Adam was put here, he was already whole. But God looked and said, wait a minute, it's not good that he be by himself. He didn't say, I didn't finish the job when I created Adam. He didn't say there was something missing out of Adam. He didn't say Adam is not fully functional. And see, that's where we go wrong. We think that we're incomplete and we are not whole without a man. We're not whole without this woman. But he created Adam with everything he needed on the inside of him. What he saw was, wait a minute, there's nothing here but animals and creatures and all of these lions, tigers, and bears, oh my. But what he does not have is somebody that he can communicate, commune, and create with. Are you hearing what I am saying? And it set the tone for what we need to look for when we need to not try to complete somebody, but complement them. When we're looking for somebody not to complete us because we were made whole and complete, lacking nothing, but we have to find somebody that we can communicate, commune, and create with. Let me break that down. Y'all know I teach. Number 1, communicate means to impart knowledge, to give to one another. You need somebody that you can impart something into, that they can impart something into you. My friend Dr. Lawrence Knighton always says this, that you need somebody that can educate you, that can enhance you, that can take you to the next level. So find you somebody that you can communicate with. If you're dealing with a joker and you can't tell him nothing, if you're dealing with a woman and she can't hear nothing you say, she know it all, listen, already you're missing a component. What we do know is that 8 times out of 10, issues in relationships happen because of a lack of communication. So number 1, what qualifies you so that you are not miserable in marriage is you find somebody that you can communicate with, somebody that you can impart knowledge in, somebody that can impart some wisdom inside of you, somebody that helps you grow psychologically. They're imparting knowledge. Number 2, you find somebody you can commune with. Commune is intimate rapport. It's a deep exchange of thoughts and feelings. It is intimacy. Adam needed somebody that he can pour his dreams into. Adam needed somebody that he was able to share his emotions with. Adam needed somebody that he can sit and commune with and have intimacy with. He couldn't find that out in the field. He couldn't do that with the animals that were around. And so he had to have somebody that he could commune with. Thirdly, he had to have somebody that he could create with. To create means to bring something into existence that was not previously there. Listen, I am talking and teaching better than y'all hitting the love and the mic drop emojis tonight. I feel like I am on fire. Create means that I'm going to bring something into existence that was no longer there. When we create, we can make children. They weren't there, now all of a sudden they were. When you create with somebody, that means that they're able to help you bring something into existence that you didn't have before. If you are looking for a mate, if you are with somebody that you're not able to create with, they're not helping you create dreams. They're not helping you to create vision. They're not helping helping you to create security, they're not helping you create stability, then listen to me, you're missing the mark. I'm trying to help you. I'm going to do this recap. I'm telling you, people don't tell the story. When we think about Adam and Eve, the first couple, we're not thinking about the fact that Adam was created whole. He was whole and complete when he got put here. He already was lacking nothing. God didn't look at Adam and say, whoa, wait a minute, I left out some parts when I made you. God didn't look at Adam and say, I messed that up. Let me start back over. God didn't look at Adam and say, no, you are not sufficient enough. He looked at Adam and said, that was good and very good. And a lot of times we try to make somebody complete us, not knowing that they were already complete in and of themselves. And so what God did say, though, was, nobody that's around on the earth, he's not able to be compatible to. And so I need to give him somebody that he can communicate with, commune with, and create with. I just said, if you're not dealing with somebody that you can communicate with, that you can impart knowledge, that you can give some wisdom to, that you can learn and grow from, if you're not dealing with somebody that you can commune with, that you can exchange your hopes and your fears, that you can talk to them about your weaknesses, that you can share intimacy with, and if you're not dealing with somebody that you can create something with, create means to bring something into existence that was not previously there. If you can't help me create vision, if you can't help me create goals, if you can't help me create my future, then listen, sweetie, I need to go back and I need to check the list. I'm trying to tell you, I hope I'm helping because I'm dropping the mic tonight. And so we have this false notion that God created woman because Adam was incomplete. No, God didn't create woman because Adam was incomplete. He created Adam, a woman, because he said he needs a compliment. Just like you eating that whole meal, that steak, and you got that baked potato and those green beans or that broccoli, and that waitress say, listen, would you like some wine? It complements your meal. It's going to help your meal taste better. It's going to help enhance what you're eating. It's going to bring flavor to what you already have. You have a complete meal, but I can add something that will complement what you already have. I'm trying to help you. And so we're married and miserable, or we get into marriages and we go into relationships with the notion of being miserable because we don't understand that we are whole and complete on the inside. So what happens, ladies, if we were to tell the truth? We turn out and try to become a man's savior instead of their saver. Can I help you? We want to be their SAVIOR instead of their SAVOUR. We want to save them from themselves. We want to save them from destruction. We want to save them from the world against them. And what we don't want to do is be their savor, be their essence, be their fragrance, be their investment, be their enhancement. And so we set ourselves up to fail because we're going into it in the wrong role. I hope I'm teaching. And so, listen at this, I did my research. When I did my research, I wanted to know medically, can a man or a woman live without their rib? Because we know that the story teaches us of Adam and Eve, that God put Adam into a deep slumber and that he took one rib from Adam and then he formed a complete woman using that one rib. Guess what? Medical experts say that you are fully functional without your rib. Listen, what I am doing is getting rid of this spirit of codependency. A lot of times we put unnecessary burdens on our helpmates. A lot of times we put unnecessary burdens on people that we're in relationships with. We want them to be our wholeness. We want them to be the reason we're able to function. We want them to be the reason that we're happy. We want them to be the reason that we get up in the morning. But when they're not on their A game, when they decide they don't want to do it anymore, we don't understand why we're not able to function, because instead of going in and trying to find wholeness, we would rather just look for somebody else to make us whole. But I'm telling you, we were made whole and complete, lacking nothing. And so in the medical field, they say that we are able to function fully without a rib. However, and this is the but, and this is how I'm closing. However, here are some things, 3 things that a rib helps us do. And as I close, and I hope that you guys got some help, some hope, and some healing out of this part 1 and part 2 of tonight, Married and Miserable, the reality behind the ring. There are 3 things that ribs help us to do. Number 1, ribs help protect our internal organs. They help protect our internal organs. They help protect our lungs. They help protect our hearts. Rib help protect our internal organs. When you are looking for a mate, when you are in a relationship, you are looking for somebody that will protect your internal organs, that will protect the thing that makes you live, that will protect the thing that makes you breathe. What am I saying? I need somebody that's going to protect my heart. I need somebody that's going to protect my integrity. I need somebody that's going to protect my secrets. I need somebody that's going to protect my weaknesses. I need somebody that's going to protect my insecurities. I need protection. I need protection of somebody that's going to protect my gifts, the things that make me breathe. I need somebody that's going to protect my children. I need protection. Am I helping you? And so number one, our ribs, even though we can live and we are fully whole and functional without our ribs help protect our internal organs. I hope I'm helping. Number two, our ribs, medical experts say that they help create a strong framework of support for our body. Boy, I'm going somewhere tonight. I'm dropping the mic. Ribs help support our framework for our body. They help support our shoulders to stand. They help support our chest to be in alignment so that we're able to breathe. They help support our structure so that our neck is aligned properly. Our ribs help. What am I saying? They help support. So what am I looking for when I'm looking at a mate? What am I looking for in my mate? I'm looking for support. That's number two. I'm looking for somebody to support me. Now listen, I didn't say I'm looking for somebody to take care of me. I didn't say I'm looking for a sugar daddy. I didn't say I'm looking for a sugar mama. I didn't say I'm looking for somebody to do it for me. I'm looking for somebody to support me. Do you know what support really means? Support is giving somebody a helping hand, a hand up, not a help out. That means I'm looking for somebody to assist me. I'm looking for somebody to compliment me. I'm looking for somebody that will help make this thing easier. There is no way that I should marry somebody. There is no way that I should be engaged to somebody. There is no way that I should be dating somebody and I'm still having just as a hard time as I was having by myself that I'm having now that I am with them. That means somewhere I'm not being supported, and somewhere I'm not being supported. Am I helping you? The rib provides support. Support. How can you help support my vision? How can you help support my dreams? How can I assist you with your goals? How can I assist you with being the man I knew you were created to be? How can I assist you into being a woman that's going to change the world? How can I assist you in raising these children? How can I assist you into building wealth? How can I assist you into progressing and prospering and being productive? Ribs provide support. Last but not least, they say ribs provide. That's the other thing. They say that ribs, and here it helps with respiration. What they say is ribs provide a way so that we're able to breathe correctly. It keeps our structure up. That, I teach voice and I used to do singing lessons, and I would tell you that if you're not sitting properly, that you're blocking your airwaves, that your diaphragm is crushed, and that you're not able to have good vocal support. And so I teach about that. And so what happens is you're looking for somebody that can protect you, to protect your ability to breathe, support your ability to have air. What am I saying? What do I need somebody to protect me from? Because I need somebody that's going to protect my airway. I need somebody that's going to protect me. Well, I need somebody that's going to protect my emotions. I need somebody that's going to protect and provide air. I need somebody that's going to provide investment. They invest in me and they allow me to be able to invest in them. Breathing is essential. I have to be able to breathe to live. So how are you helping me breathe? Are you taking my breath away? And I don't mean in that great way. Are you taking my breath away because I'm always screaming? Are you taking my breath away because I'm cursing you out? Or you taking my breath away because we always got to talk about what you keep doing and you've been doing it the last 5 years and we still having the same conversation about the same thing. Are you protecting my pathway to breathing? Am I using all of the energy and all of the breath that I should be using to speak life, but I'm speaking worry, I'm speaking death? What am I doing with the protection of the air? What is coming out of my mouth? And so what we have to do is we have to go back and look at how we were made to function. We have to go back and look at how we were made to be together. We have to see, have I been able to communicate with you, to commune with you, and to create with you? We have to look and see is this something that is complementing me, or am I using this man to complete me? Am I using this woman to complete me? Remember, there is a difference between completion and complement. Listen. Thank you guys. Over 200 of you guys joined me for part 1. We had over 4,000 people that were able to watch. Over 220 of you guys are able to join me for part 2. I pray and I hope that you guys did find help, hope, and healing in this married and miserable, the reality behind the ring. If you haven't, make sure that you share this with your friends, your family, your neighbors, your co-workers, your lay members, anybody that could really benefit from hearing a different perspective. Part 1.